Well, I probably should have made sure to have a coffee before starting the stream rather than during, because now I'm gonna have like some first 20 minutes where I'm going to be like lethargic and weird before I actually kick off, right? Hi, how's it going? It's going alright for me. I mean, I was planning to do this stream yesterday, and then I had to go to the doctors for them to steal some of my blood, and yeah, that kind of fucked me up for the rest of the evening. Well, actually, it wasn't so much the blood, the drawing out of the blood. It was more that I had to be fasting until 3 p.m. because that was when it was appointed, and then yeah, and then I had a really big lunch because I was super hungry, and then I just went into a food coma until like 7 p.m. But it was too late. It was too late to start at that point, and I was still out of it, you know. So yeah, that's how it went for me yesterday. But today I'm better. Today I'm doing better. You're gonna hear some things while I put something on the mic. Hold on. There we go. Okay. Right. So, let me just activate the scene switcher. It should work. Does that work? No, it doesn't. Okay. How do you do a wild card for this? Should be like that, right? No, it's not. Okay, hold on a minute. I gotta do some setup. How do you do regular expressions? Oh, it's the period. Okay, so can I just... this? And then does that work? So like if I go to the BRB screen and click this? No, it doesn't. Well, fuck. Why can't I figure out the automatic scene switcher? Oh. So that should work then, right? It doesn't. Ow. This shouldn't be this difficult. What am I doing wrong? Oh, there you go. Okay, nice. Okay, I was just trying to figure out the automatic scene switcher on OBS. That's all that was. Okay, so the first thing is everything here might be broken because I fucked up. So last stream I made a bunch of progress, but I made that progress while I had forgotten to pull to fetch the changes, the remote changes from my GitHub repository. So that made it so that when I went to push, I actually had to do I had to fix a bunch of merge conflicts that were super weird because I had changed a bunch of stuff in ways that were a problem, right? Let's just not go into the full explanation. And that meant that I had to do a bunch of changes to get it to push, and I think I didn't break anything, but I haven't tested it because I had to spend like 2 hours on that. I was already tired, right? So if I broke something by accident, we're gonna find out here when I try to change something else. But as far as I think, that shouldn't be a problem. We'll have to see. So what I hope to finally be able to do today is implement the animations for the main character of the game, which I haven't done so far because I've been having to set up underlying systems to get that to happen, including the state machine that I did last time. But now we are in a good position, right? Because we finally have We finally have... We don't have it. We don't have it. I deleted it in the merge conflict, didn't I? Yeah, I think I did. In the resolution of the merge conflict. Ah, fuck's sake. Okay. So... Okay, let's first of all run the project, see if everything works the way that it should. That should be order of business number 1. It doesn't. The character now is holding 2 things at the same time. That shouldn't be possible, and that wasn't an issue last time. Well, fuck. Shit, what's the issue? Oh no, oh no, did I break everything? If I broke everything, that means that I don't get to... I didn't break everything. Now it's working normally, so whatever I did to trigger that bug... It's not a thing that happens always. It's just working now. Yeah, now it's happening. Now I've grabbed 2 blocks at the same time. What's going on? Hold on. What? So was this a bug that was always present that I have to fix now? Or is that something that got introduced by the changes? Yeah, it transitioned from grabbing to idle. So it thinks it's not grabbing anything even though it is. And it has applied the everything. Uh-huh. So, okay. Now it's grabbing 2 things at the same time. Okay. What's going on here? Right, okay, so this error message is being triggered, which it should not. This should not be possible. So, what's going on? You enter a body grabbable, and you are on state grabbing. So you do grabbable try grab. We are on transition grabbing. Hold on. Hold on. Yeah, we are on transition grabbing. Oh, this might be a really silly mistake. Grabbing to grabbing is true. Grabbing to holding is true. So if you go from grabbing to holding, that should be allowed, right? Okay, so the only thing that I can possibly think of that could be causing this is if the hand state is grabbing here, but it's no longer grabbing by the time we get here. I don't see how that could happen. The other option is that I just coded the state machine wrong and I didn't sufficiently test it. So... yeah... let's do this then. Let's make the state machine chatty. Which it already was. That's weird. Yeah, it grabbed two things at the same time. Did it not actually change the state? No, it did, because you see on the output here, it changed from idle to grabbing, it changed from grabbing to holding. So it did change the state. Hold on, where are these printed anyway? Should be just, let's check the state machine. Yeah, yeah, changed from grabbing to holding. Let's add another print and have it be refused transition, so then I know what the transitions that didn't happen as well, and we'll see what that says. Yeah, there's an error. Okay. Player hands expected transition from grabbing to holding, but it did not. Yeah, grabbing should be able to transition into holding, but it's not. And what it did at that point was it changed from holding to throwing, from throwing to idle, from idle to grabbing, and then from grabbing back to idle. Presumably, there's no attempt to go from grabbing to holding here that was refused. There's no attempt from grabbing to holding that was refused. I mean, there's this one, but that's holding to grabbing. So... So, you're going... Show me. So you're going here because the hands entered a body that is the grabbable type. You check that the body that was entered is a grabbable type. You check the current hand state of the state machine, which is in grabbing. You told the grabbable to try getting grabbed, which it did, which is why it stuck to the hand. And then you told the state machine to try changing the hand state from to holding, from which it is already in grabbing. So is the player hand state machine just wrongly reporting the current held state? It shouldn't, because this is just working. It's not, that's the thing, it's not refusing a transition. So what the fuck is going on? Hold on. Let's print that number 1 there, and then print number 2 on the call. So try change hand state. So here, I want you to print number 2. The target state, and the current hand state. And I want you to print the name, so state to name. That, and so we'll be able to see what's going on here. So okay, so let's see. Right, so we have all that shit. It went from, yeah, number 2. It doesn't count because it's only for grabbing, so only when it says number 1. So number 1, then number 2 went from grabbing to holding, and it went from grabbing to holding, so that's what we expect, right? And then if I try to recreate the bug, I just... There! That's... Okay, so this part we don't care. It's just whenever it says number 2, right? So it went from idle to grabbing. That's fine. It's when number 1, so so yeah, it's here. This is number 1, right? So then it went from grabbing to holding. It tried to go from grabbing to holding, and that should be allowed. Grabbing to holding should be allowed. We know that it should be allowed because here in this table, going from grabbing to holding is true, right? And then it did it again to go from grabbing to throwing. Presumably because it thought it was already... No, it was already grabbing something, actually. So it should have been holding. That's true. What the hell? Hold on. Yeah, it's grabbing to holding. So this is the part where we start. Refuse the transition from holding to grabbing. Right, that's normal. Then it transitioned from holding to throwing. And then we went from throwing to idle. Okay, do we start at idle? Is that where we started the bug? Actually? So like here. Then we're in idle. Then everything normal. There you go, that's the issue. So then we're in idle, right? Holding idle to grabbing, grabbing to hold on. Let me idle to grabbing, grabbing to holding, holding to grabbing, refused, holding to throwing, throwing to idle, right? So that this is where we start. Then I pressed again. It went from idle to grabbing. It tried to go from grabbing to throwing, which it doesn't happen, right? That one's refused. But it doesn't print the refusal message. Why doesn't it? Grabbing to throwing. Because it should be doing this, right? Try change hand state, which is part of the parent function, so this. And there's only 2 occasions where there's returns, and that is here and here. And both of them should print something because we're in chatty mode. Is this literally just a race condition? No, no, it shouldn't be, because I'm not using any sort of multi-threading or so what's going on? Grabbing to throwing. Yeah, you try grabbing to throwing, that is where is that? Yeah, you try grabbing to throwing, you try this. And then you do try change state. So you do try change state from grabbing to throwing, but this time there are ends. Oh, that part. Okay, so yeah, this returns false. Okay, so let me just print this as well. So like print that if we're chatty, and then return false and end, right? And so that gives us a better idea of what's happening. Let's remove these prints. And this one. And there, okay, now we should be able to see it better. So grab the thing. Went from idle to grabbing, it refused a grabbing to throwing, and then it went from grabbing to holding. Perfect. Release. It refused a holding to grabbing, right? And then it went from holding to throwing, and then throwing to idle. Yeah. And then right, okay, that's the bug. I grabbed two at the same time. So that was throwing to idle where it started. Then it went from idle to grabbing. It refused one from grabbing to holding, which shouldn't happen. Why would you refuse one from grabbing to holding? It refused it because it happened on the same frame, presumably. And then refused one from grabbing to throwing, that's just the input, right? And then one from grabbing to holding. Oh. Yeah. Okay, presumably that's happening because it's encountering the grabbed item immediately. So it's happening first frame, and so it's not allowing the transition to happen because it just encountered the object, right? Because it just changed to grabbing, right? This frame because I pressed the button, right? So it's going to refuse changing to holding. And so because it's refusing changing to holding, it thinks we're gonna be still in grabbing. But that happens after the player has already told the object that it is going to be grabbed here, because it should be grabbed. Ah, shit. That means that we want some transitions to be able to happen on 0 frames, just not all of them. I don't want to have to construct another table of truth just for that. If it changed from idle to grabbing, Then start the cooldown timer. Disable the grab. No, if you change to idle from grabbing. Right. If you change to grabbing. No touch the grabbable. Yeah, if you change to grabbing, then instantly teleport yourself to global position. Change grab, currently reaching to true. Start the grab timer. Emit the grab initiated signal. Right, what is hooked up to the signal actually? Nothing. Well, nothing on the hand, but what about the player? Main hat on. I get the feeling that that might fix it, just making it a call deferred. Because the issue is that the hands are transitioning from idle to grabbing, right? And because they make that transition, they are not going to allow a second transition to happen on that same frame. But when they transition to grabbing, they also do a search of all grabbable objects in the area. And so the logic would be that when they manage this search, if they find a grabbable, then they would then transition to grabbing, to holding. But it can't transition, it can't do that transition because it's happening on the same frame, but it's still grabbing the object, it's still telling the object, hey, I grabbed you, right? So if I make that a deferred call, then that means that that call happens on the next frame, which means that it is going to find those grabbables just on the next frame, and by then it's going to be allowed to do a transition, and importantly, only one transition. That should fix it. No, that made it worse. What the fuck happened there? Oh, why did I play? I needed to see those error messages. Yeah, it went from idle to grabbing. It refused the transition from grabbing to holding. It refused another transition from grabbing to holding. To throwing. Right, the only reason they would refuse this transition is because it happens on the same frame, right? So is this... ah shit, that's not what I want to do. Is this deferred? From main hand to player. Is this method? Okay, let's be more explicit about this, just so that I can see it better. Right, so that works fine, and then if I place it here. Right, so it transitioned from throwing to idle, that's the one. Okay, then it went from idle to grabbing, then it refused grabbing to holding because same frame. It refused grabbing to throwing because same frame. So this is normal, but this is not. So yeah, so the issue would have to be then that this Yeah, that this is being called on the same frame, even though the parent function is... Right, so that will be here. Grab initiated and mid. Mid the grab initiated, then the player does this. Oh, right, because this is not the detection. This is the detection, but just for the one to chase, not for the one to be grabbed. So actually that did nothing. Right, okay. So okay, I'm understanding the issue better now. So then the main hand, when it changes to grabbing, it does this grab initiated and make, yeah. It detects a grabbable and places it here. And then right, okay, this bit has to happen next frame. This bit has to be deferred. So... this should return... full. No, this doesn't return anything. And then this is this part. So it does all this, right? And then we call that what call deferred. Oh, that's not how you do that in Godot, is it? Let me Google that a little bit. Godot call deferred. Oh, that's how you do it. Okay, yeah. It's with one F, isn't it? Yeah. And so it'll still do this part. It'll just do it next frame rather than this frame. And so then that prevents the state machine from freaking out. That works fine. And then if I do this... No, still no. What the hell? Okay. Ooh. Am I really gonna have to implement some sort of truth table for which transitions are allowed to happen on the same frame and which are not? Surely not, right? Okay, if that is not going to work, then here's my other possible solution. Maybe I have it so that the grab and hold transition doesn't actually try to happen on the same frame, because that's the only reason this is a thing that I need to set for the hands, right? Is that I am using the same button for those two things, and so that makes it so that I have to check if they happen in the same frame, so that they don't just do a weird transition all at the same time, right? And so what I could do is just have it so that that transition doesn't try to happen all at the same time, and so that if you press the key, then it'll check before. Oh, that feels dirty. Okay, let's see what happens if I do allow multiple state transitions on the same frame. What's the word that could happen here? Right, that's what happens, right? That's what happens. It grabs and throws at the same time. So what I could do is just disallow that transition from happening by having the player not try to do both transitions, right? So that would have to be on the main hand, probably the main hand query input, right? So having so that the throw input is blocked if the grab input is pressed, right? These are two separate inputs, but they have the same button. They share a button. So I can just have it be so that this only happens. So yeah, so let's do. Let's do a new variable here. And then right? So yeah, so that's all I'm doing. I'm just checking if we grabbed, and if we did, then do not throw. Even though the throw button has been pressed and you have processed it, right? I don't want it to not process the input, but I just want it to not allow it on the same frame, right? So then right. Because it's only when it correctly executes a grab. Okay. What headache? Hear about. Okay. Right. So part of the issue is that here this is only for input querying. So I would need to know if the transition actually happened. Does try hand change state return a value? It does. Okay, so I can use that value. Fucking hell. Good, good. Okay. So yeah, whether the grab executed is going to be this. Right? Oh god, please work. Okay, works. Finally, we fixed that issue. The problem that is definitely not an issue that was brought about by the merge conflicts. That's definitely an issue that existed and I just didn't notice it. So we fixed the bug. Good. We fixed the bug. Now, can we actually implement the animations for once? Jesus. just grab the to-do list a little bit. We're going to be implementing player animations. We're going to be focusing on so let's grab my reference picture here. Right. So the animations that I want, the animations that I need are right. They are idle, walk, hold, hold, walk, grab, plus the charge, attack, and that's gonna need a new gameplay action as well, plus the charge. Right? So that's the stuff that we need to actually do today for me to leave happy. Jesus, that's a lot. That text is tiny. Yeah. So let's just focus on this. So this is what we want to... I know I said this like 20 times and we haven't managed to make a little bit of progress on this, but this is what we want to implement today. Walk. If nothing else, that. Right? So... right. So, gotta reach for my water. So, for the benefit of that, I implemented this script that should still be there. This guy. The animation state determiner. And the animation state determiner is a guy that receives signals. Alright. And this guy is supposed to receive signals. I'm just realizing that I didn't code any of this. This is an empty script. Was it an empty script last time I touched it? Yeah, it was. I just left it like that, huh? Shit. I thought, for whatever reason, I fooled myself into thinking that I had finished that. Oh, fuck. Okay. So all that this guy's job is supposed to be is just to keep these two variables updated depending on the state of the other thing. So it just needs to know what state the others are in, right? So it should be easy. It should be easy. The main hand has signals on... No, it doesn't. The player has signals. No, it doesn't. The movement handler has signals. There you go. Those are the signals. Okay, and then we need the hand signals. Well, we have these signals, right? The state machines signals. So we can have it so that the state machine reports to the main hand, and the main hand just reports to... Right? So... Well, it should probably follow the same format as the movement handler, so let's have them be like... Main hand... Yeah, just... Oh, god damn it, I'm using the wrong version of Doro. Why didn't it warn me? Usually it warns me when I open it in the wrong version. Does that mean all my progress is going to be saved on the wrong version? Okay, let's just assume that that didn't break anything. Fuck. Okay. State changed, right? That's the signal we want to create. And it has to just report whatever state it received from the main hand state. So just... Yeah, just the same way that this is defined, right? So... like this. No, not like that. No, like that, like that. Yeah, like this. And I'm just realizing something, that this should definitely not live here, but rather live here. We're gonna have to go one by one. We're gonna have to change this in a bunch of other scripts, so that's a problem, but for now, it doesn't matter. Let's see. Enums. That. Didn't I do it like this from the beginning? This is really silly. Not that it doesn't make sense to have the hand states lived on the player hand state machine, but if I'm going to have an enums global, then I should make use of it, right? As much as this is a bit irritating. Okay, and then we have this signal, and all we want for this signal is to be emitted whenever this other signal is emitted. So basically just a layover. You go to... Where are you going? Ah, you're going here. So then we can just emit the signal as well. Because that is also in player hands, so... is new and old, right? It's the same order. It's new and old. To and from, yeah, new and old. Right, so then that signal is emitted, and then we can have the player, we can have it so that on the player, this signal is hooked up to the animation state determiner. And so this guy will know, right? Right. The signal was changed, and so I gotta change this to the right state. Since these are only going to be used here, I'm not gonna make them put them into the enums global. But the player hand animations are used elsewhere, so enums and state. So you receive these as that, as enums hand state, right? Which is the name, I think. Yeah. No, it's hands underscore state. So okay, you receive them like that, and then you just use it. So if they changed, no, it's a match, right? It's a switch case. That's not what it's called in Godot, but that's what it is. Match. I had it right the first time. It's called match. So yeah, match state change to, and then if that is enums and state idle, yeah, idle, then and anim state current hand animation state of type hand anim state. Right, so current hand animation state is going to be equal to hand anim state point idle. And then we just change them to match. Which I know it sounds silly, like we could have this be of hand state type, but then that doesn't account for the attack animation, which is not part of the hand state because it's the state of the whole player. So we can't add it to the code of the hands, right? Like that's still being idle, it's just that at that point you're just forbidden from transitioning to the grab, right? You're not acting as a hand, you're just acting as a sprite at that point, right? So it keeps us from adding new logic to the hands for that. So yeah, so then if you transition to hold, then it's a hold, except it's not called hold, it's called holding. How will we though, put them in the same order. I think that would be nice. Right? Idle, grab, hold, toss, and attack. Right? So with those, and then we use the signals from the movement handler, and then we know most of these, right? So just here we have to start connecting these signals to that guy. So began breaking is in this, and then we need a variable that tracks that. So current body animation state of type body anim state, and then when you begin breaking, then current body anim state equals break. Right, and so the advantage of this is that this guy doesn't have to be concerned with what exactly the movement handler is doing. It just knows these things. It just works based on signals. So if I wanted to activate animations based on something else, like a cutscene, I don't have to create more logic for the state determiner. I just have to feed it the signals that it's expecting to be fed, right? From some other script, you know what I mean? Like that's completely decoupled from the movement handler logic, right? More or less. Right, so there's that, there's begin idle, same thing. So just this exact same thing, but except it is idle. We have begin walk. Here. Walk. Right? We have the grab, which also involves the body, so when this happens, we also have to involve the body. So, parent, body, name, state equals body and name state grab, right? Because the idle of the hands and the idle of the holds, they don't involve the body just walks normally. But when it's grabbing, the body stops and does the grab thing. Unless it's jumping, I suppose. But we can worry about that later. Yeah. Then these two, which are make player jump and begin ascent. We're not gonna hook those up yet, because we don't have the jump graphics yet, right? So we're gonna worry about those later. So, what we should have here is a thing that is constantly keeping track of the state of the player body. Let's see, body, idle, walk, break, grab, attack, ascent, descent, right? And yeah, we should have a thing that is constantly keeping track of the stats of the player, right? And so now we can start creating animations on this guy. that correspond to each of those combinations, some of which are not possible, right? So yeah. Yeah, that's what I expected. Okay. Right, so then I can start making animations. Right? I think the screen froze on stream. What the hell? Yeah, why is it showing that? Oh, that's scary. Okay, okay, let's close it. And then open it back up. Okay, now it's showing up correctly. Okay, so where's the player sprite actually? Oh, it's here. Okay, I can just move this up a tiny bit. Like here, so that his feet are not clipping through the floor, right? And then let's just create some shitty animations. Ooh, hold on, there's some coding, there's some parsing errors. Let's save this. Warehouse state machine line 26. Right, because this is no longer called that. Main hand 0. No, but that's dependent script, so that's fine. Player GD with error parser. Nope, there should be nothing wrong here. Okay, finally, I can actually make the animations. I've said this like 3 times now. Holy shit. So. Create an idle animation for this guy. And then the reset should be set automatically, right? I don't think it is. Okay, just as a test, let's just animate the modulate on this. So just how was it that I recorded the these things? Oh, here. Okay. Property track. No, there was a better way. There was a way that you could just... Oh, here it is. Key. Right, and the reset is automatically set. Okay, good, good, good. So I can just... press this key icon here, and then press this key icon here, and then here it is, like, pink. Right. And then we make it loop. And then, right, the reason I'm doing just a stupid animation is because I want to test it. So then this guy should be in charge of whenever any of these changes happen, it has to send the correct signal to the animation player on what animation should play, right? That is its whole purpose, is the animation state determiner. So it should read the combination of these two things and do the correct animation. No, I'm realizing I need two animation players. I need one for the hands and one for the body. No, because they would have to be coordinated. Ah, shit. Yeah, no, okay, let's... We'll just have to make combination animations. Which doesn't sound too difficult. Let's hope that it's not. Okay. Right, so this guy, whenever one of these changes happens, he has to, like, actually tell the animator what he needs to do, so... Right, so whenever there's a change, it calls this. And actually, since this is pretty much the main functionality, let's put it here. Just at the top. It just feels more orderly that way. Right, so how does it do that? It first needs to check which one of them they are. And then it should tell the animation player to play the animation with that name. So we're gonna have to hard code this. There's probably better ways, but I don't know those. So yeah, we're gonna have to... This is probably gonna come by me in the ass later. So we're gonna have to be aware of who the animation player is, right? Actually... And what am I doing? I don't need this to be a sub-node. This should be the node itself. Yeah. No, not there. Here. And then this dies. And that way I don't have to have a reference, it's just the self. Also, this should be called the player animation state determiner because this is some very explicitly only player functionality. And so what this guy does is it checks if actually, how does play work? Because if play plays yeah, I'm gonna need 2 animation players actually. One for the hands and one for the thing, and then this guy is going to have to coordinate them. So not like that actually. Right? And then this guy is going to need to know who both of those are, so body animation player and the hand animation player and this is so that a changing hand animation state does not interrupt the body animation state, right? If the body animation state would not change, and then I gotta actually give it the script, and the script needs to know who is who. So right, and these are exported, so no, not those, not those, not those, not those. There you go. And so this is the body player, and this is the hand player, right? And then When you call to determine animation, you check if current body animation state. Actually, don't check. Right? Do a match, right? So match the current body animation state if it equals body anim state point idle, then body player plays idle, right? It's that simple. And the same for the other states, the ones that I care for right now, which are idle, walk, break. No, we don't have a break animation actually. So we're just gonna keep it at walk. Hold. That's not a body animation. The body animation does not hold. Hold walk, that's just the walk animation as far as the body's concerned. Grab, that is a distinct animation, so we do that. Grab, play the animation called the grab. And attack. Attack. We'll have attack. Right? Right. And so... And then after that, you gotta do the same but for the hands, right? But here's where the just sort of special thing is. When you match the hands animation, you gotta play, but you gotta play the idle animation. Oh no, I just realized. No, that doesn't actually matter. Wait. Wait, yeah. Wait, how would I implement that anyway? Oh. Oh, yeah, that... Wait, yeah, how do I implement this actually? Because like, okay, because my issue is on idle, the hands are going to be moving towards the idle point, the anchor point, right? So I can just animate that anchor point. But that anchor point, even though the hand is in the same state, yeah. Yeah, no, I'm gonna need to make the combinations. Oh, I'm so indecisive on this. Yeah, I'm gonna need to make the combinations actually. It's not gonna work just the way I was thinking. So yeah, let's just delete this and then add the animation layer. Fuck, it's so silly. Right, and we have the animation player, and then this player has the animation state determiner, and then all that we do is just play a different animation. No, but that still interrupts the thing. And I don't want it to be interrupted. Okay, but I can do that with an animation oh, I can do that with an animation transition. Yeah, I can do that with an animation transition. Yep. That means that I don't need an animation player, I need an animation tree, and I'm gonna need to learn how to use the animation tree. No. I don't wanna. Oh, you need an animation player. Oh, I have no idea how this thing works. Let's find the docs here. Photo animation tree. With animation tree, Godot has one of the most flexible animation systems that you can find in any game engine. It's pretty much unique in its ability to animate almost any property in any node or resource, and its dedicated transform-based DR function calling audio and sub-animation tracks. However, the support for blending those animations via Animation Player is limited, as you can only set a fixed crossfade transition time. Okay, to use an animation tree, you have to set a root node. An animation root node is a class that contains and evaluates subnodes and outputs an animation. There are three types of subnodes. Animation nodes, which reference an animation from the linked animation player. I'm already lost. Animation nodes, which reference an animation from the linked animation player. Animation root nodes, which are used to blend subnodes and can be nested. Okay, and animation blend nodes, which are used in an animation blend tree. A 2D graph of nodes. Blend nodes take multiple input ports and give one output port. Animation node animation. Animation blend tree. Allows linear blending between two animation nodes. Contains only an output node by default. Okay, so I get the idea that I get the idea. I need to get an animation player. Here I'm gonna put the tree as a child, I guess. Then the animation player is gonna be this one. That part's fine. And the tree root is going to be... I want a state machine. Right? And so now I should have here. Right, so this is more familiar. This is closer to what I'm used to using in Unity, right? So, okay, so now we create some animations. Right? You just pass for now. Oh, I deleted the wrong thing. There we go. Okay. Now I gotta go to this animation tree, not the tree, to this animation player and actually create some goddamn animations. Do I finally get to create animations? Is that a thing I'm allowed to do now? Animation. Right. Here we go. New animation. I'm gonna call this idle. Right? I'm gonna make this super simple. It's gonna last like, let's say, 4 seconds. 4 seconds. It's gonna be like... here, and we're gonna add this. And this is gonna be just gonna change the scale, right? So set a scale here. And set it like here. It's gonna be 0.3, 0.2, right, just like that. And then take this one and copy it. And actually this should be like a lot less than that. So it's gonna be 0.22 and 0.2567. Not 0.27, 0.25, right? Like that. It goes like this. So it's just like slowly breathing. Right? And then we make it so that the Right, just very gentle. And then the other thing that we do is we move the hand anchor position, which actually should be called main hand anchor point, right? And so if we move it, we move the hand. So we just put its position, rotate at its position and its rotation as keys. And so we give it same here. No, not the scale. I don't want the scale. Position. Rotation. And then here the same rotation. And then here we add position and rotation, right? And so we'll create this, and so just move it a little bit like that, a little bit down, and rotate it just a little bit right here, right? And then we give it the same easing, so it's 2.21, 2.21, 2.21. I really hate that the Bezier curves kind of suck in Godot. Like, they suck to manipulate, and it's really weird that it isn't the default, right? That these things are not convertible to a proper Bezier curve. But they aren't, so I guess I have to live with this. So it's like that, and then it... Alright, I get the impression that the one in the middle probably shouldn't be eased like that, so let's do this 0. For real, why can't I see the curves? Why is that not a thing? Oh, that is a thing? So wait, does that mean I can just make it 1? 1. I swear, how does this easing shit work? Yeah, loop it. Show me what it looks like looped. Right. I mean, under ideal conditions, I will be telling somebody to animate for me, right? And then here, we just sort of do the same for the other hand, right? So the all-hand anchor point. Position, yes. The rotation, yes. And then at second number 2, at position and rotation. Second number 3, at position and rotation, right? And then we animate it much the same way. So minus 2.21. Minus 2.21. 2.21. 2.21. Right, and then we adjust position for the offhand and the rotation. So this, so we move it like to match in and down, and to match this way. So then right, so okay, so that's the idle animation. And give me a second to be right back. Just really short. Okay, back. Okay, so I might have undersold this a bit, but look at it. He breathes. He finally lives. My god. Okay, this is literally nothing though. Let's go on to the next thing. Let's see. Okay, so that's the idle done. It's not implemented, but it's done. So actually, let's what if I made to-do list a bit? Idle done, so deleted, but then also actually implement animations, right? Because we have the animations done, but they're not implemented yet. They do not happen within the game, which will probably not be something I do today, just because it's been a while, right? And so, okay, so that's the idle animation. We can make a walk real quick. Let's have it. How do I make a new one? There you go, new. And so we have walk, right? And so this is going to be like, this one should probably be like 1 second, you know, like boop, boop, boop. Actually, it should probably be quicker, I would say. Let's say that it's 0.6, right? That's the length of this animation. Let's stretch this a bit. This, right? And so this animation should be really easy because it's just take the moon and we give it a scale, right? And we also, right, we have to decide that on the idle here as well. The idle needs to have a couple more tracks. One for the sprite itself, for which texture we're using. So this one. In this case, it's just this one though. So that part's fine. And that doesn't change in this animation throughout. And then one for the textures of the hand. So this one right here, and this one right here, right? And so that ensures that when they change here, that's not a problem. So then we're gonna have for the walk. Yeah, we're gonna have this. This is the texture for the walk. No, it's not. The texture for the walk is right? This, there you go. The hands have the same, but they are animated differently, so yeah, so the walk begins with the guy shrunk down, so like this, and X here. It should be like very stark, like that. Right? And so the idea is when you loop it, right, he does a little walk. And then the hands should sort of follow, right? So hand position, main hand anchor point here. And offhand anchor point here. You should already have a reset track. Yeah, walk. And so at the beginning, they're like here and here. Oh, actually, I should probably copy these points. Copy them and paste them here just to retain. And then, yeah, this one goes up like here. And the offhand goes up like here. And sort of with the same easing, right? 0.947, 0.0947, 0.0947. They do that. Except not, because they should be a bit delayed, so... .947 is a bit too quick, isn't it? Yeah, and then we can have this so that these two are right here. Yep, and then I can just sort of move them out a little bit, like here and here. And so it's more like he's swinging them around, right, as he walks. And then I can add rotation. And to the other one as well. And here. And so make sure that the numbers are the same, so 0.420. just so that the asins sort of match, right? Then 2.46, 2.46, 2.46, right? And then that one's just one. So then we take this and we rotate it. So this one goes like this. This one goes the other way, so like this, right? Obviously the hands don't cross each other, but that's an issue for later, right? I mean, at that point I just need to have the animation, the sprite with the other foot forward, and then I just add another 0.6 seconds of animations after this, right? This is good enough for now. Right, so that's the walk animation. Walk animation, to-do list. Walk animation, done. Look at him, he walked. Yay! Oh, this is very goofy looking. And then, okay, then the hold, which is just idle hold, so I'm gonna call it that. So, like, create a new animation, idle hold. Let's call it actually idle hold. Now, why exactly have you placed yourself with that as your default? You haven't. Oh, okay. So that's not a real show. Okay. So the idle hold, this is the same as the idle, so it should be the same length, just for consistency's sake. It should be 4 seconds long, and actually it would probably be a good idea if we copied a bunch of parameters from it. So also the walk is a looping animation. So let's take everything from here. Can I copy things actually? Surely yes. Surely the answer is yes. Right? Take this. Copy them here. Oh no! They're not a thing. Oh, that's an animation. That's not what I wanted to copy. God, that scared me for a bit. Can I copy this? Paste it here. Doesn't seem so. Can I copy this? Paste it here. No, and in fact it pasted something else entirely again. Why? Can I duplicate an animation here? Like if I take this idle hold and remove it, yes, delete it. I take this idle and I duplicate it into an idle hold. These changes are surely not going to, if I change one, it's surely not going to be linked, right? Like if I take this and just move it here on the idle hold. Yeah, okay, so they're not linked. Okay. Gotcha. So we have the idle hold, which is based off the idle. So it's going to be similar, but with a couple differences. First of all, the texture of the hands. Since this is the hold, they should be using the hold hands. So hold hand left. What happened? Okay, so not only did gotta start spitting a bunch of weird errors. It also froze on OBS again. But because it's erroring, I'm afraid to just close it. So... Okay, I don't know why that happened. But we're here. We are here. Okay, so you can see it fine, right? Okay, so then we go back to the animation player. Jesus. We have the idle hold right here. Something weird's going on. Yeah, I just changed this texture parameter. Animated it. And hold on, why is the... Right, so that's working fine. And then this is working fine. But the preview, for some reason, just... Oh, now you... Whatever, so long as you work. Okay, so the only difference with the hold idle is that the hands positions are different. So, well, other and the sprite as well. So we take this hand and we place it here. So that modifies this, right? So no, it doesn't. Okay. Okay, so see, this is the part that confuses me. This guy is complaining that it doesn't have a uniform scale, right? That's what that warning says. It doesn't show on screen because it's a little window that pops up, but like that's what it says, right? It's telling me, hey, please make it scale uniform. That means that it has to be the same on all axes. However, it already is. So like, is it like one? Yeah, it's one. It's one. And if I press save, then the warning goes away. But then I assure you that as soon as I start moving this, it's going to start complaining again. I don't know what's going on. Okay, so we have this thing. We want to move the main hand anchor to a new position, so we're going to do that right here. Or when it's holding a thing, right? And so the rotation... Right? And then this is pretty much the same value for 2. The same for 3. And then for the offhand anchor point, it's the same thing, but in order to know what the texture is that we want to change, we have to make it like the actual one. So, quick load. right? And then it starts erroring again. Texture detected as used in 3D. Oh my god, dude, you didn't realize before? And then the main hand's complaining again. You see the warning. But why is he complaining? If I save, doesn't matter. If I type 1, 1, 1, then I save, it doesn't go away. Why are you complaining? I do not understand what this complaint is about. Hold on, let me Google it actually. Gotta keeps complaining. Node scale is not uniform even though it is. This makes no sense. Okay, whatever. Let's just assume that that error is not real and just move on. Actually, let me check the reference. Yeah, there you go. That's what he's supposed to look like. But actually, the orbs are quite small, so I'm gonna have to just override my artist's judgment here. And then just to give it sort of this breathing motion, we're gonna have the position be shifted like a little bit up here. Like that. And so it goes like that. There you go, right? One thing that does need to be addressed here. It's this grab position. If the hands are there, then this guy needs to move so that it can be there. So let me look at it in 2D because that's where I need to position it, like right here. Right? It's being carried right here. We won't give a shit about the health visual because we're gonna make a UI element probably at some point, so... Ooh, hold on. Actually, what is the default grab position? what does the default grab position do actually? I forgot. Well, what does it do? Because if it doesn't do what I think it does, then I should probably not move it. Yeah, this. So that is here. This. This is used. Oh, that's where the grab starts, not where it goes. Okay, so yeah, that I shouldn't have moved that. Yeah, you can just stay there for now. Right. Right, so he's just sort of grabbing stuff. He just holds it all high, right? Right, so that's the idle hold. And then we have another one, which is the hold walk, right? So what we're gonna do here is just do the same thing that we did there. So duplicate the walk. Why am I talking like that? I'm talking all weird. I feel like I'm talking weird. Just duplicate the walk and make it a hold walk. Right? Idle hold, idle to hold. Actually, no, I don't like that name. Should be walk hold, just for consistency. Right, so hold is always at the end. Right, and so this is just like... Right, so the difference is the positions are going to have to be the same as the hold for the hands. So we're gonna have to copy these two things and place them... Let me make this longer. Place them like here. Does that work? What the fuck, man? No, it doesn't. What is that? That's not what I copied. Why are you pasting it in position and position? That's not what I copied at all. Well, fuck it. Okay, we'll just copy them by hand then. So... minus 0.4... And OBS froze again. What's your problem? What? Oh, it started outputting a bunch of errors. Okay. Save. Close. This keeps happening. My back hurts. Okay. Okay. First of all, I gotta get you to stop bitching about this thing, which is not a real issue. It's not real. That's not happening. This is one. This is one. This is one. I've triple checked this. This is not addition. Please preview the animation properly. Please preview the animation properly. Please preview the animation properly. Okay, so that's the walk. The walk will be so weird as a result of a failed copy-paste, right? But that's fine. So yeah, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna... What do you mean editing dummy animation player? What does that even mean? See, okay, this is the one thing that I really dislike about Godot. A lot of its warnings and error messages are really unintuitive. You know what I mean? Like, I've had my times of scratching my head when I'm trying Unity, and there's an error message that I don't understand, but usually it gives me like a pretty good clue unless it's something really weird, right? With Godot, there's been errors where like the actual issue is just that something is spelled weird, right? That you're referencing a variable that is null or something, right? And the error is just inscrutable to me, right? I've gotten used to some of those, but like, I haven't had the same level of beginner confusion in many coding languages as I have with Godot. And I learned C. Like, that was less confusing than this to learn, right? It was harder than this, it was way harder than this. But like the compilation missed errors that it would throw were less confusing. You know what I mean? Godot has a bit of a problem with that. Granted, once you get used to it, it's fine, right? Obviously, once you know the error messages, it's not a problem. But jeez. Okay, I have no idea what a dummy player is, so I'm just going to ignore it. It means nothing to me. Okay, walk. We want to take the idle hold. We want to take the position of the main hand anchor, which is 0.415. Oh, Jesus, it's actually a huge number. .415, 1049. Let's make it 105. It's 415. Fuck it, I'm copying them one by one. Fuck it. Fuck it. I really don't want to make a mistake here. And we could put the rotation. 0, 0 minus 5.1. That was easy. 0, 0 minus 5.1. 0, 0 minus 5.1. Right, so let's enable this thing. just that I can preview it, right? Excellent. Okay. So then we take this guy, and this is... So let's copy this and paste it here. And then the same for this, and then we can animate them separately, right? So like this and this. And this. It's the same on all three, so why should you move? What is your problem? Why can't you just be normal? Minus 5.1. Why would it become minus 95.1? Right? Also, why is the texture changing? Who told you to change texture? Why are you changing texture? Why are you changing texture? Why are you changing texture in the preview? Like, it's not real, it's not part of the animation. I know it's not because you're not showing it when I press play. So why, when I move this, you change to the normal, to the default texture? That's not what I wanted to do. Just show me the preview of the animation. Is there a button to actually preview this that I haven't been pressing? Like a toggle? No, there ain't. Okay, fuck. I'm just confused by the way that this works. I hate the Godot animator. Easily the worst part of the program. I love Godot. The animator sucks. I should have animated this in Blender. Then imported it. That would have been easier. Fuck, I could have done it in Unity. I think Unity can export animations that you make there. I think. I'm not sure, actually. Okay, but it's just a slippy that I'm just doing it wrong, right? Okay, 331-1072. 331-1072. Okay, 331.107. I think it's probably 1.072. Go. Take this position. Put it here. Put it here. No, that's a different thing. Put it like here. Here. And then copy it here. And then take this rotation, which weirdly is just the same one. Copy it here. No. Here, like here. Not here. This one, copy it here. And then here. Okay, we're just stop being a fucking asshole. 0.51, minus 5.1, minus 5.1. So why aren't you just rotating in the middle? It's the same rotation. Minus 5.1. Minus, and now it's 99.6. Only God knows why it's 99.6. It's just he has willed it in such a way, and now we must suffer. And it's still not... In all instances, it is minus 5.1. So why Oh, so it's not rotating in the middle, it's just not showing the line. I'm fine, I'm not upset. I'm not upset that the coded animator sucks ass. I'm fine, everything's fine, we're good, we're all good. He's in love, man. Okay, can I actually start animating now? Because literally all I need to do to animate this, literally all I need to do, I shouldn't be pulling teeth so hard. This is all I want to do. This is all I want out of this stupid animation. I want this to go here. I want this to go here. Okay. Actually, that doesn't look very good, does it? I should go a little bit higher, actually. Here. Like here. Just a little bit, right? I don't want to exaggerate it too much. Here, that's probably better. There you go. That looks better. Yeah, right? Why is this line still not showing up? Like, it's really freaking me out, man. Like, it's the same number, so it should show up because it means that, like, what that line is supposed to signify is that there's no movement there, that is the same position, and it's not showing up, which would seem to imply to me that there's a different number here somehow, but there isn't. Okay, I'm just gonna ignore it. So okay, that's the hold and the hold walk done. Right? Those are the ones that I just did. Yeah, those are the ones. Okay. Fucking hell, man. I love Godot, but that animator is terrible. I think they changed it in 4.5. I'm just still using 4.4 because that's what I started this project with. I think they actually did make it better. I just zoned out there. That's what happened there. I just spent a while zoning out. We can interpret it as just the venom leaving my body from all the complaints that I have about the Godot animator. The Unity animator really is good. It's super good. It's just so easy to use. It's so nice. The Godot animator is... So in 4.4 it's really bad. maybe it's better in 4.5. I'll admit that possibility. Okay, so we have these animations that I like so far. You are complaining again. So yeah, so we have those animations. I could actually make the grab animation, but I want to test the system so that I can see the guy moving before I keep going with it, alright? So let's make this work. So we have this animation player here, and we have this animation tree here. So this animation tree is going to need to know of those 4 animations, right? Presumably... we need this animation, which is the idle. We need this idle hold. We need this walk. We need this walk hold, right? And so you start by going from here to there, right? So how? Oh, that's how we connect them. Okay, so this, yeah, this creates new nodes, right? And this connects them. So yeah, you start an idle, right? And then I connect you to U2. But I connect you depending on something, right? Okay, I do not understand this. Google, help me. Go to animation tree again. How do I do it? With animation player, animation tree. Okay, so yeah, a few types of nodes. Yeah, those are the nodes. Blend tree, that's where it starts. Wait. Right. It can be useful to layer animations to prove each other. Okay. Okay. Play animation styles. Connect animations to the inputs, and the current state index determines which animation to play. To specify a crossfade transition time in this factory machine. When you make a state machine, you get an empty 2D graph in the bottom panel under the animation tree. It contains the start and end state by default. To add state, right-click or use the Create New Nodes button. Those icons are plus in a box. You can add animations, blend spaces, blend trees, or even another state machine. To edit one of these more complex subnodes, click on the pencil icon. Right, okay. Before the state machine can do anything useful, the states must be connected with transitions. To add a transition, click the connect nodes, just align and drag between two states. Yeah, okay, that part I got. There are 3 types of transition. Immediate will switch immediately. Sync will switch to the next state immediately, but will sync the next state to the playback position of the old state. Okay, I understand that. At end, we'll wait for the current state playback to end, then switch to the beginning of the next state. They have a few properties. Click on the transition and it will be displayed. Priority is used together with travel function from code. These determine if the transition will advance or not. Okay. Advanced conditions a true or false check. You may put a custom variable name in the text field, and when the state machine reaches this transition, it will check if your variable is true. If so, this transition continues. Note that the advanced condition only checks if a variable is true, and it cannot check for falseness. Okay. Very limited capability. If you wanted to make a transition back and forth based on one property, you will need to make 2 variables that have the opposite values, and check if either of them are true. This is why in God of War the advanced expression was added. This expression works similar to the advanced condition, but instead of checking if one variable is true, it evaluates any expression. An expression is anything you could put in if statement. These are all examples of expressions that would work. So I get the impression that what I needed was not actually a state machine transition. I may need a state machine transition at some point, but I don't think it's what I need now. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this animation tree, we're going to just clear this. And rather than a state machine, we're going to create a blend space, blend. I think what we need is a blend tree. And so when I go here, yeah, this is what I need. Okay. Nothing connected to the output, but that's fine because we're going to add a couple. So we have animations here. 3, 4 animations, right? Those are the ones that we have right now. So this animation is going to be the idle. Do I really have to type the name? There's no way for me to like just add it. Really? Okay, I mean, that's fine, it's just a bit weird. Hold. Right, and then we have this transition, I think? No, it's not the transition. What I want is the... No, it is the transition, huh? Okay. Transition, right here. And so this is going to have... Oh, okay. Yeah. Idle, walk, idle hold, walk hold, right? And then, as I understand it, I link these to the transition. No, not like that. Okay, what? Blend through, blend 3. No, it's not a blend. Added to? These are not the ones that you're telling me that exist. What the hell? Oh, in the inspector. Right, okay. So it's a transition. And here I go, okay, I want... inputs, right. Okay, so I want 1, 2, 3, 4 inputs. And those inputs are connected to this, to this, to this, to this. And so the idea is I could theoretically, if I connect this here, just here, pick which one, right? Now wait a minute. What the fuck is this? Okay. It's fine, it's fine, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's fine, it's fine. All I have to do is take this. Create a key. Put it at the beginning. Put it at the beginning. Change it. Can you tell I'm not having a good time? I hate the god of the animator. There you go. Okay. Okay, there you go. So now I can just change this value, right? And this value will decide which of these animations I'm playing, right? So can I change the name of these? Yeah, let's just call them by the names so that they're easier to walk, idle, hold, and walk, hold, right? And you can just have so that it's not reset, right? And so actually, what I want is more than that. Right. And so then, in script, I should be able to in script, I should be able to... Right, so let's take the player hands, the animation state determiner, this guy right here. We have to re-plug in all those transitions, all those signals that I unplugged earlier. I have to get you to stop complaining about stupid shit. That's not real. And then I can do it. Right, so I can be like, the movement handler needs to tell that guy when we began doing each of those things. So began breaking, tell the animation tree. Began idle, tell the animation tree. Began walk, tell the animation tree, right? Then the hand. State changed, tell the animation tree. So now the animation tree will know all these things. And then when we determine animation, we're going to just consider the 4 that we have implemented, the 4 that we did right now, right? So the only ones that we care are idle, idle for the hands, hold for the hands, walk for the body, and idle for the body, right? So if current hand and in state equals hand and in state point idle, then if current hand and in current body and in state, actually there's a better way to do this, match hand and in state. No, not hand and in state. Current hand and in state. Current hand and in state. Current body and in state. Let's do that. Then body and in state point idle when current hand and in state equals hand and in state point idle. So when they're both idle, then yeah, print. We're gonna figure out how to do it later, but print, when they're both idle, we're just idle, right? That's the animation. Otherwise, otherwise, right? So those are the 4 conditions that we care about right this moment. And then, then what, right? Right, then I have to check the how to actually push those, how to actually tell the animation tree that that's what's happening. And so this should probably be extending the animation tree actually, which is not called animation tree apparently. No, it is. I just spelled it wrong. Okay. Right. And so set parameters, transition request. Parameters. Right. So would it be like parameters? Right, this is not, this is just self, right? And you're looking inside of it, you're looking for parameters, transition, and surely it would be idle. No, that's get. The one I'm looking for is set. Oh, I gotta say, okay, the parameter's name is transition request. What a weird way to do this. Okay, transition request. Equals idle. That's how I do it. And then the same here, and here, and here, but they're called idle hold, walk, walk hold. Okay, please work. Tell me that please you work. It didn't. Wait, don't breakpoint. I didn't want to put a breakpoint there. Yeah, I mean, just do it like that. Who cares? Okay, these are not great animations, and we are missing a couple just for completeness sake, right? Like, he needs to break, he needs to do these things, but... What the fuck was that? Right, the animations work super weird when it's not one of the ones that I've determined, right? That's why those are freaky. But the ones that I care about are this idle animation, this walking animation, which it's gonna have a second sprite later, right? This holding animation, which works except for the fact that made actually and this holding animation. Okay, they work. They look terrible, but they work. The code works. Why is it twisted though? Why don't get it twisted? Okay, something is happening. Something is happening. I think I might have forgotten the parameter on the animation itself, right? So let's do. It's on the idle hold. That's the one that's messing up. So let's check it out here. You have a rotation, yes, and this rotation is minus 4.4. No, it's not the idle hold, it's the walk hold, actually. It's the main hand, actually. It's minus 5.1, minus 5.1, minus 5.1. Minus 5.1, minus 5.1, minus 5.1. Okay, here's the thing, though. I don't trust that. I don't trust you, though. I don't trust you at all. Okay, why are you not transitioning when you grab? That's the thing I'm wondering. Because the state machine does... Hold on, what transition from throwing to idle? Okay, transition from grabbing to holding, right? Yeah, the hand state machine knows that it's transitioned to holding, but for some reason, the animation tree has not been notified. So what's going on? You do change the hand state to hold, and then you go, okay, so we're in idle. And the hand animation state is not idle, so you shouldn't go here. You should go here instead. But instead, you're actually not updating at all, though, are you? So is it just that this is not running in those cases? Or are you just determining that none of these are true? Oh, you're determining that none of these are true because I'm letting the body enter on states that are not... Okay, you know what? That's fine. That's true that it shouldn't do that because those are not implemented yet. So the only ones that we care about are idle and walk. We do not care about any others. So any others are just not going to have an effect. Right? Actually, just pass. Right? Okay. So that should fix that issue. Or like it should. Okay, so now it doesn't get stuck in this weird idle pose. Okay. Why does that hand not rotate though? That's what I want to know. Why does that hand just rotate itself to a weird position? Because on the animation it's set up correctly. So I don't know what it could be doing, right? So let's also add some debug variables here, just so that I can make this stop screaming messages at me on the thing. So export variable chatty is a bool, and then only print these if chatty. So if actually we can make this better. We can make this better, yeah. Bar animation name string, and then animation name, and just take all of these. So this. These are all just animation name equals that. So then I can just delete this, and this, and that's just a more generalized version of the code. So if also string is with an uppercase S, if chatty, then print this, but print it better. So player animation 3 change animation 2 concatenate with animation name. Yeah. Okay. So that just makes it so that it doesn't, so that I can just click a variable so that it doesn't scream at me. Why? Back to the issue. Why does that hand rotate itself in a weird way when I don't want it to? To begin with, why are you playing right now? What is affecting this animation? What is? Let's add a visual component, a sprite. To the main hand anchor point. And we can add a sprite here. Let's add this, just the Godot thing. And so we will see if it's the anchor point that is rotating or it's the hand that it's rotating weirdly. So it's the hand rotated. The anchor point is actually has the exact correct rotation that I would expect. Yeah, even when the hand is rotated weird, that part is the same. So that means that it's not an animation issue. It's something else is rotating the hand itself, not the anchor point. So let's make you chatty because I need you to know, and let's make the hand not chatty anymore. The state machine not chatty. So yeah, let's check what could be affecting the rotation of the hand independently of the main hand. Oh, it could be. Rather, I think it's actually just extremely simple. It could just be that I never thought to make it so that the hand follows the rotation. It just follows the position. No, because it is following the rotation here. So then why? Why is it not doing it? Do I just not have the anchor point set up? But then you wouldn't be able to follow it at all. And it follows the position fine. Should it be local rotation? No, that would make it different. Or rather, that would only be worse. Also, it frozen OBS again. God damn it, why does it keep doing that? How long ago did it do that? The problem is, it really scares me because like, I'm not sure that if it's just Godot having weird interactions with OBS, or if it's just my project being fucked. Yeah, why do they not follow the correct rotation? The main hand should be following the rotation of that guy, but it's It's not, but it's not only when that transition happens. Wait. Oh, that was going on. This is what it is, isn't it? There you go. Look at it. It's animated terribly, but that's only because half of the animations are missing and it's trying to construct the rest just from what it has, right? But it works. He's walking. He has these shitty little animations. I could make the walk faster, but like he holds things over his little head. He runs with them. Yeah, once I have more sprites. What's important here is not that the animations look pretty or that they be even good or even that all of them are there. It's that the animation system works. That's the part that's important here. That's the part that works. Like all the animations are triggering when they should, and when the animations are triggering wrong, it's because that's an animation that's missing. So like here, he's not holding it, but that's because he's breaking, right? And I don't have the breaking animation. Same for this, like being damaged, just gonna look weird, but it works. All the animations work. He doesn't have a jump animation, so he just slides, but like, look at this. Amazing, amazing. Okay, so proud of myself. So glad that I did it. God, that took a bunch of effort. And a lot of weird errors along the way. But I did it. Yeah. Tell you what, this has been a lot more tiring than I thought it was going to be. So what I said on X about playing games later, let's just leave it for another day. It's fine. It's fine. I'm gonna maybe I'll do a stream tomorrow or after, but the day after where I only play games or something. I don't know. It's not like anybody's itching too hard for it. I just wanna have a long rest right now, and by rest I mean sleep. I'm gonna go sleep. But yeah, I'm pretty proud of how everything went. Like, let me remember, this time for sure, I will not forget to upload the changes to GitHub, so that I don't have to be saddled with a lot of conflict resolution to do on my off time. There you go, that's, and then, what do I write here? Animation system implementation, commit, push. There you go, that's the animation stuff. Okay, yeah, thanks for watching, I suppose. Bye!